Why is STEM struggling to get people through the door? Will it get better? Can we do more? A lot of us think so, but how? That's the question. Hey, Adam here at Twinkl. I'm with Millennium Point CEO Abbie Vlahakis, and we're going to be talking about all things STEM. How you doing?
Hi, Adam, you okay?
Yeah, grand, thank you. I'm really excited. I'm going to try and remember the meaning of STEM because I've not said it for a while. So it stands for science, technology, engineering, and maths, right?
That's correct. Yeah, that's
Oh,
correct.
get in.
Yeah.
So glad. So glad I remembered it. So I've got a few questions for you.
Yeah.
Hopefully I won't put you on the spot too much.
Okay.
I'm really excited to be interviewing about STEM education. Can you tell us a little bit about the work you do for it?
But what's really unique about us is that we're actually owned by a charitable trust, Millennium Point Trust, and we're all about promoting education and knowledge in STEM to get young people into those STEM careers that are out there, which are evolving and developing by the hour, as we speak, really. So we do lots of things from giving out, we use our profits to give out grants to schools so they can buy equipment, they can go on trips, anything that encourages young people to see the opportunities that STEM careers and STEM education can give them. We give out scholarships, we do so much, but so what we do is really focused around the STEM agenda.
Can you think of one STEM project that you've recently supported?
We've got a school in Dudley who they're working with a group called STEM High Flyers, and they are retired aeronautical engineers. And they have taken a number of students from a school in Dudley, and they are working with them to build a light aircraft. So they go to it's almost like a huge airplane hangar after school twice a week, and they are literally building this plane. And in 3 years, so they've started now at 13, by the time they get to their GCSEs, the plane will be built and it will be flown by a professional pilot at the air shows, and just seeing the children working on the wings and understanding that just small degrees of movement will impact whether the plane will fly or not, and just weight and everything like that, little, I guess, do they know that they're learning maths and physics, and it's just bringing to life STEM, but in a really fun way.
When I've worked with other people in STEM, they've said that outreach is so important.
Yeah.
What's been your experience of working with STEM? I know you sort of answered the question a little bit earlier, but I want to sort of like get into that a little bit more.
Yeah. We supported a project which was about teaching STEM through drama. And we were like, I wonder how this is going to go, and thought, actually, we have to be creative in how we get young people interested in these. So we supported this project, and they were on a 6-week program where we had industry in, we had students, academics, and at the end we had a class of, I say they were 9 or 10 years old, and we asked that, I said, who knows what an engineer is? And the hands that went up, and this little girl said, engineers, they solve world problems. And I was just absolutely blown away. And I said, do you want to be an engineer? And she was like, yes, I want to be an engineer. And I'm going to create a machine that we put in the ocean, and we can take all the pollution out of the ocean and save the planet. And I just thought, we have actually really had an impact on these young people. And then we interviewed them afterwards, and they were like, oh yeah, I want to be an engineer, and I want to be a chemical engineer. And you could ask them, what does that mean? And they knew. And that was because they'd been through this this process. And I think a lot of what we do in terms of STEM is about communicating to young people that these opportunities are there. I'm not saying everyone's going to go down a STEM route, because we couldn't have that, obviously. We need people from all to go into all careers. But unless this is communicated, nobody knows that those opportunities are out there. And that's why we want to work a lot with parents as well, because parents are big influences on their children. So yeah, the feedback we get is I could go on to lots of different. There was another one where we kitted out a whole STEM room for a school that had been trying to teach engineering through a textbook and engineering GCSE, and they didn't have any equipment. And that's really difficult. So we kitted out the STEM room with 3D printers, laser cutters, all of the tools they needed, the software. And that engineering class in 1 year went from 20 to 65. And the feedback we got from the head teacher and the teachers was that young people started to see that the STEM room was an important part of the school, and therefore started to show a lot more interest and want to go down those routes, because they are really creative. And I think just doing that and providing that, you can see you're having an impact. We hold a free event every year. We call it our STEM festival. Last year it was based on sport. This year it was based on medicine. And in both of those, we wanted to show to young people that you can work in sport, for the first one, and not have to be a footballer or an athlete, but you could work in the sports sector in a STEM role. So we had industries coming along to show how the science behind how footballs are made, the science behind football boots. We had people showing about how they work with football clubs to improve respiration and how important that was. We had lots of things going on. And then this year we showed them how you can work in life sciences and the medical sector without having to be a doctor and a dentist and a pharmacist, which we know are really difficult to get onto those career ladders because of the opportunity. There's a shortage of numbers to get onto the courses, but how they could work in that area through STEM. So how, for example, a hospital near us, which is the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, they have a whole tech room, digital room there of 30 people who use technology to help surgeons, and they are an integral part of the hospital. And it's just showing young people that they can go into those routes and work in the health sector and also change lives. I think STEM is about changing lives, making life easier in some way, solving problems. And I'm an accountant by background, so I went down the maths route. And actually, I think if I had to sell the role of being an accountant, I think I'd find it much harder. Whereas trying to sell the role of being in STEM, I could just go on forever. They're creative. You're solving problems. You only got to look at the iPhone, how that's changed our lives. There's just so many opportunities and so many routes in to STEM. You don't have to go to university. There's great apprenticeships. There's great, school leaver programs. There's just so much out there. And if you've got a creative mind, which I strongly believe children have, especially when they're young, then my God, going into STEM is a great thing.
What do you think is the situation with STEM education in the UK at the moment?
I think from the experience I see going into schools and working with a lot of educators, I don't think it's given the importance that it should be given. I don't think schools have got the necessary equipment to be able to teach what's currently happening in the workforce. So I think there's a big void between the curriculum, what teachers are able to teach, and what employers are looking for. And I think there needs to be a bit of a marry up here, where industry start to play a more direct role in helping schools, because you've got the workforce saying we need the talent, because we've got a huge skills gap in STEM at the moment. I think STEM learning about 4 years ago was saying that there's 173,000 vacancies, and these vacancies are costing 1.5 in the UK, 1.5 billion a year, because they're not filling those roles. So there needs to be a marrying up, industry helping in education, which is what we're trying to achieve at Millennium Point. I think there needs to be a lot more role models in STEM. I think they're out there. I think we just need to shine more of a light on them so that young people can start to go, especially girls. Girls in engineering is something really small, like 12%. They need to be able to see that actually all of these female engineers, which they are out there, oh, I can do that. That's something I can achieve. So I think at the moment there's a big void between what's happening in the classroom and what's happening in the workforce, and there's this opportunity now to bring that together, because these are the careers of the future. They're going to build our economy, especially in digital. I think the gaming industry at the moment is one of the biggest profit-making industries for the UK. We need to get more young people into those roles. Can you imagine if you're someone who's very creative, very artistic, loves technology, you might like gaming, you could be doing that as a role. We need to be communicating that to young people and helping. I think industry needs to be helping teachers to explain to young people that these opportunities are out there. And God, I could go on forever between the education system and what's not needed out there. The equipment. So one of the things I love doing is when we put things like 3D printers and laser cutters into schools, because they're getting the opportunity to see what's being used, maybe on a smaller scale, but what's being used in industry. 3D printers are huge in terms of how they're being used in different sectors. So I think there's what we're trying to do is help teachers get more exposure to industry, help educate parents on what these opportunities are that are out there. When you say the word engineer, the amount of parents that go, "Oh, I don't want them being a mechanic," but engineering is vast. And I think explaining that these roles are also very financially lucrative. You don't have to go down. I think the traditional roads, such as doctors, teachers, lawyers, accountants, they're well-traveled roles that everyone can go, well, actually, there's a safe career path there. We know these roles. So parents tend to push that way because they want the best for their children. I think what we need to do is to be able to show that actually engineering, technology, digital, gaming, they're equally lucrative roles. And I think it's communication that we need to work on and help and support schools.
What would you advise to schools, teachers, educators, parents, families, if they were looking for ways to maybe sneak more science into their curriculum or inspire kids into STEM? Like what would you advise to them, or where would you point them to?
If you're in the West Midlands, then we provide grants to support you, whether you're looking to put on clubs, whether you're looking to buy equipment. We're also very good at giving you ideas of what you can do, reaching out to your local employers, getting them to come in, help, to speak to young people, to do something interactive. Bringing things to life, I think, is really important. STEM careers are about being creative and having logical minds as well. And sometimes I think we force young people into one or the other when they can be both. And, I always use the analogy that if an engineer wasn't creative, then we would probably have a cup would probably be a very bland bowl, or a chair would just be something with 2 legs or 4 legs, sorry. But they're creative in what they see. And so sometimes being pushed either down one route or the other is not the right thing, and we should be encouraging young people to, you could be doing art and you could be doing maths at A level, and I think that's a really encouraging place to be, really. And I think that's the other key message to get across to young people, is that yes, whilst we might be going into an area now where the world will become full of robots and computers doing roles that maybe potentially were done by humans, to create those, humans still need to create it. And what we're entering now is a world where young people and people who are going into changing career are being upskilled, and that's a great position to be in. I would say to young people, you want to be the people creating those computers, creating those robots. And what a great opportunity. If I had my time again, I would be going into STEM careers.